First, let's talk about the whole lineup for Sport Class, and then we'll introduce you to the first heat. David Curley in a 2017 Just Highlander. Matt Vastine, someone who was putting in work yesterday in a 2023 Just Highlander. Sheldon Hetherington, you just heard him from Gulf Breeze, Florida. Number 18, Justin Tisdale in the Zenith 750 Stole. Chris Jameson, 2005 Zenith. A lot of Zeniths this round.
Absolutely.
Jeremiah Stapleton in the 2018 Rands S20 from Lake Dallas, Texas. And then we've got Joel Milloway in the Rands S7, followed behind him, Pat McIntyre, and another S7, Nick Ardillo. 2014 Cub Crafters SS from Dallas, Texas will be flying for you. Edward Boyd in another Cub Crafters Carbon Cub. Kelly Qualls in a Cub Crafters Sport Cub all the way from Hot Springs, Arkansas. And Chuck Olmstead bringing up the rear in the 2001 American Legend AL-18 from Sulphur Springs, Texas. So that's the full lineup. We're going to introduce you now to the first heat, the Delta Heat. Right in front of you, Dave Curley in the 2017 Just Highlander. He's all the way from Spicewood, Texas, discovered flying later in life, and that aircraft has a Rotax 912, but with bigger cylinders, and it's supercharged, and modified. You're going to love seeing it fly. Everyone, big round of applause for David Curley.
Now, I want you to notice, folks, as you see these aircraft come out, there's only one that's not a 2000 or newer. So we're getting out of the vintage class now.
That's
and
right.
We're looking at some of these brand new, very light aircraft. They're coming in about 800-900 pounds. They got a lot of horsepower. Rotax, very heavily represented in this class. We see we're lifting the tail there, a little bit of showing off going on.
Yeah, so that's Matt Vastine in the 2023 Just Highlander. Powered by a Yamaha engine. If you follow National Still, you might have heard that name before on some very famous aircraft.
Exactly.
From Fort Worth, Texas. He's working out as a bus driver during the day, enthusiastic about general aviation during all the other times of his life, and he engages in general aviation on all aspects, flying, maintenance, coming to events like this. Check him out on Instagram, Rhodes_en route. Everyone from Fort Worth, Texas, give a big round of applause for Matt Vastine.
And he has a horn, because why not?
Next up, in a yellow airplane named Redbird, it's Sheldon Hetherington. Such a great guy, putting in all the work, practicing all the time. You can see him on all of the socials, doing the social things. It's the red over yellow Redbird, powered by a Rotax 912 from Gulf Breeze, Florida. Check him out on Instagram, Sheldon Photo Guy. Got flaps, VGs on his flaps. Got a new modified windscreen. Sheldon's a great one to watch, and we're going to talk a little bit more about his flying a little bit later today. Check everyone out. Big round of applause for Sheldon in Redbird.
Now, folks, you're going to notice that Sheldon is running with just one door.
Yes.
So we were flying out to DIs yesterday, and he was in a hard slip and pulled in a whole lot of suction on the right side of that aircraft, and the right side, that right door said, you know what, I'm done. So does that bother him at all? No. He's made his minor repairs. Now he's flying open on the left side. That's not going to affect him aerodynamically at all. He's going to be able to compete. And on the way home, he says, I might just take the other door off and just ride with the doors. It's like
you don't need the doors.
It's like riding with the windows down. You know? Why
just
not?
Roll them down, Sheldon. All right, next up, number 18, Justin Tisdale in another Zenith 750 from Siloam Springs, Arkansas. Unpainted, powered by a unique Viking 130 Honda engine. And notice the giant Alaskan bush wheels. You can check him out on Instagram. Everybody's got an Instagram these days. Moose-stache Flyer, like Moose the animal, Stash the mustache, Flyer the airplane. His friends call him Bruno. Everybody give a big round of applause to Justin Tisdale. And last but certainly not least, number 24, Chris Jamison.
You'll notice that the Zeniths are very highly represented in this class. We got a really good crew of Zeniths this year and a very crowded class.
So Chris Jamison's coming from Marks, Missouri. Got 22-inch Aero class wheels on that. Took the slats off, threw VGs on top. I bet people are talking about that around the campfire. Everyone give a big round of applause for Chris Jamison. Here we go. Dave Curley's been released. Full throttle, that supercharged engine. He's off sub 100, sub 75 maybe.
Yeah, really good takeoff, folks. He's not flying it that hard quite yet. A lot of times these guys on their first or second runs, you'll see them. They'll take it a little bit easy, but by that third run, they're going to be slamming that tail down and catching those flaps back and getting off probably even better than that. I don't think that's his best he can do, Ryan.
Matt Vastine now going to come off short.
Nice.
Matt Vastine yesterday during practice, someone told me they thought he might have been sandbagging it a little bit. His first 3 runs, like 600 feet combined scores. Second 3 runs, like 100 feet combined in those conditions.
He got picked on in the safety briefing this morning about that.
Yeah, what's up with that?
We didn't think that he was doing quite as good as he could do. Here comes Sheldon Hetherington. Hey, Sheldon off in about 120. Now, Sheldon has been putting the work in, folks. If you watch him on his Instagram, you can see he has been practicing like 3-4 hours a day getting ready for this competition. And here comes Mustache Flyer.
That's right. Justin Tisdale hanging out with him a little bit last night. He was actually helping Sheldon through that door problem.
Look, 110. I'm calling it. It's less than 110. That was really good. He is going to be proud of that. And I know Jan Eggenfeller is watching with his wife at home. They're watching all of this and watching that Viking engine do its work. But, you know, when I rode him back from the airport where he took shelter from the storms that came through, here goes Chris. Holy cow.
Ooh, that was a short one, too.
I think Chris got off in less than 100 feet.
Well, let's check it as we go into the landings in just a second. David Curley's takeoff, 90 feet. Matt Vastine, 80.
That is, yeah. Oh, I don't know about that one.
And that's a scratch for Dave Curley.
Yeah, he's not going to like that. And I want you to notice, folks, even the judges are rooting for you because when you see celebrity line judge Lexi wave that flag and then she throws it down kind of dejectedly like, I can't believe he scratched. You know, the judges are rooting for you on these events. Everybody's rooting for everybody else. This is the only sport where the competitors coach each other.
Yeah, the camaraderie is really strong in the Stoll community, and Lexi gets so excited. You can hear her shouting when it's good. When it's a good one, it's a good landing, she'll shout and be excited. Here we go. Matt Vastine now, that Yamaha engine just distinct sound.
Absolutely, you can tell. He's got a good high angle of attack, slammed that thing down. It's good, and about 100 foot or less on the stop. Man, that's amazing.
That was a good one. Now, one thing we noticed with Matt, now as we get to these higher performance aircraft, you're going to see this more and more. We saw it a little bit with Brandon Korn too. The idea of putting energy down into the ground instead of forward. And so you look at all the shocks that all these aircraft have. It's not about passenger comfort. It's about making sure that you're dissipating as much energy down instead of forward. And Matt kind of did that textbook that time. Here's Sheldon now. Huge Alpha, nose way up in the sky. And
I don't know.
Just a little short for Sheldon.
Well, that's okay. And so the higher angle of attack they can come in, the sharper angle they are coming down, the less forward speed they have. And the more energy, like you said, they can put into the ground, the less energy is going forward and the shorter they can land. So that's the name of the game here in the National Stoll Series. And these guys are very, very good at it. Look at this high. He's already got some juice in it. Floating that thing down. Now there's drag in and drop in, and he's trying to drop in, but I think he's going to end up dragging in.
Heavy on the throttle over the line. Not much left there for him.
He's good, but he's going to be about 125.
Yeah, I wonder if that right main skidded just a little bit further than 125.
Yep. Yeah, the skid is just something we're going to have to deal with. And here comes Chris right behind him. Chris coming in. Look at that. All 3 tires at once. He's getting them locked up and a stop before 175, about 170. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Okay, we got a break in the. Have I actually?
We're just trying to have a fun Stoll event in Jennings, and here goes David. There he is. That's what I'm talking about. 75 feet or less. Yes. Just like I said was going to happen. Yep. I'm feeling a little vindicated.
No, that's all right. His best run so far, 249 feet.
Let's see what his 79-foot takeoff.
Look at that. You pulled an Eric Farewell and just nailed the guess right there.
Yes, indeed.
So big improvement there for him. Here's Matt Vastine now. Off really short.
Wow. I got to give it up for Matt now. He is really, that was very good. We're waiting for the score to come here in the booth, folks. 81 feet, 2 feet of difference between Matt and David.
It is going to be a little bit of a grudge match between those two in this heat. Here's Sheldon now at the line. What do you think's happening with him with the door right now, the door situation? We can see, I think it's...
Well, he just took off in less than 100 feet. Yeah, it's not there.
It's not affecting him at all. So to elaborate on that, he was flying, getting ready to land, and the plexiglass departed the aircraft.
That's right. He had a hard crosswind, and it was no doubt making a whole lot of vacuum on that side of the door. And when I mean a hard crosswind, I mean the cone was just sticking straight out at a 90-degree angle. And he was coming in on full pedal. Come on, Mustache Flyer. Let's see what he's got. Ooh, uh-oh. You know what? I think Sheldon took Justin on that one. Sheldon took off in 93, and Justin's coming in. We're waiting for the score to come in here, folks, but I think he got him. So he was at a – I mean, he had –
No, but look at how consistent Justin is.
Yes,
101
indeed.
Both times. He's got it dialed in.
Yeah, well, Justin has done a lot of flying. And here comes Chris. Chris picking that front wheel up with that 912. Man, yeah, that's a good one for Chris. And he had all. Here he comes. Here comes David, getting that nose up.
Gave up a little bit on the landing, a little bit long over the line. Keeping that stick full back, that aerodynamic braking. Also, we saw the importance of that earlier during the rookie class. You got to keep the aerodynamic forces on the tail to keep it down.
That's right. You and I have seen our share of nose overs.
Yeah, we have done that together. That's weird.
We have seen our share of nose overs, and it's reached a point. I'm not saying it's not even unusual anymore. It is always unusual to have that sort of incident, but these guys are getting on the brakes because they want to win. They want to win. They're competitive. These are competitors.
Matt Vastine currently in first place.
This is a good approach. This is a great approach. He's coming in at a high angle. Look at those shocks play out. That is a good landing.
And just trying to keep it straight as the wheels are locked up, sliding all over the place.
You know, at this point, if you don't bring a pair of rubber boots to Swamp Stoll, that's on you.
I bought a pair at Walmart last night because I did forget, and I'm wondering if I should just leave them in the broadcast trailer for next year.
That's probably a good idea. Probably a good idea. We're going to catch some good weather at Swamp Stoll one of these days, although the weather today is beautiful. And look, here comes Sheldon. And now this is a little better than his last one. He's got a higher angle of attack, and he's getting that nose up, getting that energy out. Pulling those flaps up, and he's coming in at about 175. That's good for Sheldon. Now, he's not going to like that, folks, because he made a really good 93-foot takeoff. And, as you know, in the scoring here, you've got to match a good takeoff with a good landing. And that really puts a lot of pressure on you as a pilot when you take off, because if you have a really good takeoff, you think, oh, man, I better not screw up this landing because then I'm going to screw my score up. That's got to be paired. Good takeoff, good landing. And that's just part of the mental game that National Stoll puts on you, and that pressure it puts on you and trains you, I think, makes you a better pilot. So you'll notice Mustache Flyer doesn't even have a cowling on his airplane. Chris is going to make a 180, get himself a little bit of separation because Justin is coming in so slow.
First. Oh, good one. Break it.
That's what I'm talking about. Look at him pump the air with his fist.
Yeah, he is happy with that one.
He is pumping the air with his fist. He knows he did well.
Let's watch it on the replay. I thought he was going to tail strike first.
And he's happy with that.
You could see it break. You could see it break right before the line there.
Yeah.
What's the score?
78 feet. Is that right? Am I seeing that? 78-foot landing. He's going to be happy with that one.
That is aggressive because look at everyone else in this heat, their landings, I guess we had a 99-foot landing. Matt Vastine did, but even Matt this round, a 107.
But look, see, he had a 101-foot takeoff, which is very consistent, but he smoked that landing. I mean, that is something to be proud of. And, you see him pumping his fist in the air. Folks, I got to tell you, as a competitor, this is one of the most exciting and fun things you'll do in an airplane. It is so much fun. You're just taking off and landing, but your competitive spirit takes over, and you'll really develop your technique and learn to be a better pilot if you come to the National STOL Series and compete. Here comes Chris.
Want to put that last landing in perspective. Justin Tisdale and Matt Vastine now tied for first with 179 feet. Dave Curley in third with 243. Here comes Chris now. Best run so far, 266 combined.
All right, Chris dragging it in, and he's going to scratch that one.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, he'll be bummed about that later at dinner tonight.
As we get ready for the third run of this first heat of Sport Class, I wondered if you could show off some of the trophies and stuff that we have for the competitors.
A lot of people don't even know who Janet Flannery is. She is in the background making everything go. But this is made by an artist out of New Orleans. This is a piece of slate this weekend. All right, here comes David.
Okay.
Looking good. That's a good one. Hey, maybe sub 75 on that one. This I am loving this beautiful headwind right down the runway. I hope I get that when I fly.
I hope you do too. I want that for you.
I really do. I want that headwind. It's so good. And now you said so. Matt Vastine, they're tied. He is tied with Tisdale.
Stick full forward. You can see it through the camera angle. They're pulling back. He's off short.
There he goes, but I think David took him on that one. Now, just so you know, folks, although all these guys are racing in the heat, in the sport class type aircraft, there is kind of a rivalry there. Like
sure.
If you got a Highlander and I got a Highlander, we got to go out and see who's who. And here comes Sheldon Hetherington from Pitt. Oh, nice one, Sheldon. Very good. So
you called it, Dave, a little bit shorter than Matt. Where Matt's really making up is the landing distances compared to Dave.
That's right. Well, think about this. Think about Justin Tisdale and that 78-foot landing he's got. I mean, it's okay if you take off a little longer, if you can smoke everybody on the landing. So here comes Justin.
Speaking of smoking everyone on the landing, he did it last round. Here he is.
Goes.
Off short. Just holding those mains off.
Did you see him drag his tail? All these pilots, much older than him. Here he goes. Come on, David. Look, he locked him up. He had him locked up when he hit. And he's still at 150 feet. Now, we're dealing with the mud here, folks. It's just something we're going to have to deal with.
Just heard from race control that Chris is actually out due to a broken brake control.
Well,
can't be safe without that, so we pulled it back.
Got to be able to brake.
Got to go figure that out.
And you know this as well as I do. We're putting these airplanes right to the forward edge of their performance capability. And when you're doing that, things are going to break. Things are going to break. And that's just part of it. That's racing. And here comes Matt Vastine. But I really got to tell you, for a 21-year-old pilot, I'm very impressed with Austin Clemens, and he is set. Look at his angle of attack.
Woo, he's got that nose high. He's got to hold it off.
That's what you got to do, man.
Touching the tail, that's fine. I heard a couple whoas in the crowd.
It's
okay to touch the tail before the line, just not the main. So that's totally within the rule set.
And Justin Tisdale can drag his tail when he takes off. And he did.
And that was watching this replay, Matt. Just like watching how aggressive Matt is. He's
doing a great job. Look at that. And there's a video out there right now. Brian Steck making what I think is the very perfect STOL landing, and he stalls right before he lands. Look at this good high angle of attack for Sheldon. Good job, buddy. Now, he should be happy with that. I don't know if he's happy with the score, but the landing was great.
It was beautiful.
The landing was awesome. But Brian Steck has a video out there. It's not long, folks, of him landing, and I call it the perfect STOL landing because he stalls right before he hits. And then the shocks take the energy and put it down into the ground. Look at how slow Justin. We got somewhere to be, Justin. Can you hurry up a little bit here, buddy? Come on.
Well, he's got to do better than that last one. So because look at his best takeoff so far, 94 feet this run. If he can best 78, it's going to help him hold on to the.
Look at how slow he's flying.
Nose down a little bit as he gets a little slow. There we go. We're over the line, giving up some footage there. It's not going to best it. It was
no, not going to beat his best takeoff.
Jeremiah Stapleton. Everybody give a big round of applause for him in a Rans S20. His team name, Scud Runners from Lake Dallas, Texas, running a UL Power 130 on that thing. He's been with us since the start of National Stoll. Everyone, round of applause for Jeremiah Stapleton. Also an excellent chef. You can't mistake who's flying this aircraft. It's Joel Milloway in a 1996 Rans S7. It's called the Tiger Shark, powered by a Rotax 912, 22-inch Desert tires from Idaho. Everyone give a big round of applause to Joel Milloway. Next up, from Lincoln, Nebraska, Patrick McIntyre in a 2006 Rans S7, powered by a Rotax 914, 29-inch Airstreaks, TK1 Monster Shocks, Badlands Stoll Cuff. He's got all the stuff on it. Part-time veterinarian, part-time professional pilot, and a first for National Stoll onboard camera. If you're watching live on the stream, everyone give a big round of applause for Patrick McIntyre. Rock over to the socials. By the way, if you want to get in on it, you can, even in the crowd. Oh, there we go. Jeremiah Stapleton's been released. And he's off short in that Rans from Marks, Missouri. Remember, the score to beat we have for Sport Class right now is currently a tie between Justin Tisdale and Matt Bastine with 179. Joel Milloway now in the Tiger Shark, hovering off into the air. That takeoff for Jeremiah Stapleton, 90 feet. Waiting to see what Joel Milloway does. Patrick McIntyre now off really short, maybe around 55, 60 feet. Okay, Joel Milloway was 60. Yes, Alex, it is pretty muddy. Here's Jeremiah now, right on the line. It's good. It gave up a little bit of footage. Stick full back. He's getting it stopped. Those tires just leaving big divots in the mud. The Tiger Shark now. Joel Milloway. Practice yesterday was putting in super impressive numbers. Good over the line, kicking up some mud, getting it stopped. Woo-hoo-hoo! Oh, man. Sub 75 feet. Pat now on short final. Interesting, between these two aircraft, Pat's upgraded his a bit aggressively. He's got a larger engine on the front, done some other work to it, moved the flap handle. I guess the traditional Rans S7 flap handle placement isn't as ideal as maybe what we'd call the Cub Crafters model. It's up in front of him now. Here he is, over the line, good, heavy on the brake, stick full back, sliding a little bit in the mud. There's Pat McIntyre also coming in super short. Let's see what we've got cooking here And he's been released by the air boss. Off he goes, tail up, digging in for it. Pulled maybe just a little bit early for Jeremiah, but he's off into the sky. Let's see, his previous takeoff was 93 feet. No, 90 feet, I stand corrected. And Joel Milloway dropping those flaps, leaping into the air. I couldn't tell you why they call that plane the Tiger Shark. It's totally unknown to me. Pat McIntyre, the veterinarian, with that onboard camera. Let's watch now here in Jennings. Watch what he does with the flaps there. They're in, pulling it back more into the air, and then releasing just a little bit, coming in. And then I want to ask you a bunch of questions about Eastall.
All right.
Giving up a few feet there, keeping that stick full back, and just sliding. Yesterday we're calling them slide outs instead of roll outs. So, burr sticks, my friend. Talk to me about what it's like after, being involved in getting Eastall started, getting all this virtual version of National Stoll up and running. What's it been like getting a taste of it firsthand?
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. This is my first event, and it's been a really, really good time.
Whoa, let's look at that for Joel Milloway. Right on the line, stop short, little bit of tail rise. That's right, you can cheer for that one. Holy
Very
cow.
nice. But yeah, it's the one thing that you don't get in the sim is the the smell of the aviation fuel. That's
no Microsoft smell-o-vision.
No.
Pat McIntyre now on short final, getting that nose nice and high, dropping it in kind of perfectly. Look at that!
Wow.
Woo! We have a race on our hands. Joel Milloway's last landing was 57 feet. Pat McIntyre with 120 feet. And let's skim through here. We still have third place held by a tie between Matt Vastine and Justin Tisdale. Here's Jeremiah Stapleton now. Tail nice and high. He's going to time that pullback, dropping the flaps at the same time for a little burst of lift. Off at 111 feet. Joel Milloway now from Idaho in the Tiger Shark. Pulled back very early and just floated right off.
I love those takeoffs.
.78-foot takeoff for Joel Milloway there. Actually his longest one of the heat. Pat McIntyre looking for blood. Let's go! Short! That was a good one. Waiting to see his best takeoff so far. 54 feet.
I love the sound of that aircraft.
Sounds really good. .52 feet, so that might be the best takeoff.
See here, except it only it's virtual.
Here's Jeremiah holding it off. Oh, with a scratch. And how can people get involved in Eastall if you're interested in trying it? It's a great way, by the way, if you're thinking about competing. I would say if you're thinking about competing in National Stoll and on the physical world, competing it in the sim world would be really cool too, because it gives you a little bit of a sense of what it could be like.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the best way to get into it is nationalstoll.com/chat, and that'll take you to the Discord. But yeah, I mean, we make it exactly like each place that National Stoll flies. We have all of those in the simulator.
Oh, Joel coming in short, keeping it balanced. Oh, what?
Little showing off at the end there. I love it.
Let's watch the replay here. Just over the line, left main touching down, just a little bit ahead of the right, getting it stopped. That was a 59-foot landing, so Here we are on board with Pat coming in on the landing. Let's watch what he does with that flap lever. Dumps him.
Oh,
Getting it brake, getting it stopped.
very nice.
You could see the impact. He is not worried about comfort. He's worried about putting that energy in the ground. Let's watch it again. Fully pulls those flaps out, dropping right in. He is looking for a win. Best takeoff, 52 feet. And it looks like they're calling it a scratch, which is heartbreak for me. I cheer for him, Nick Ardillo in race 68. It's that red and white 2014 Cub Crafters Carbon Cub, powered by a Titan 180 horsepower engine, 31-inch Alaska bush wheels from Dallas, Texas. Give a big round of applause for Nick Ardillo. Next up, in one of the fanciest paint jobs you're going to see this season, it's Edward Boyd in a 2019 Cub Crafters Carbon Cub. Powered by the Carbon Cub 340 engine, 31-inch Alaskan bush wheels, Acme Aero shocks from Appleton, Tennessee. Everyone, big round of applause for Edward Boyd.
Looks like he's got a warbird painted on the side of that. I wonder, it looks like maybe like a P40 or something?
I thought it was a P51. At least someone mentioned that
Okay.
to me yesterday, but I also think it could be different from side to side. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Here we go now with our friend Kelly Qualls. He heard me talking smack about the mirror on the onboard image. Kelly Qualls, number 86, 2007 Cub Crafters Sport Cub from Hot Springs, Arkansas. Check him out on social, everyone. Big round of applause for Kelly Qualls.
I love that simple yellow paint scheme on there with the bolt. That's just beautiful.
You're going to see a big difference, I think, between what Kelly can do, what he's doing with 100 horsepower compared to like Nick, 180 horsepower. Here we go. Last but certainly not least for Sport Class, Chuck Olmstead in the 2001 American Legend AL18.
But I'll tell you what is super cool is we started the National Eastol stuff.
Whoa, okay, Nick Ardillo's not messing around.
We started it probably, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago or so, and we got invited to FS Expo, which is, if you guys know, it's one of the biggest. It's one of the biggest events for flight sim that there is. So we're actually going to have a booth there where you guys can try out National Eastol. We're going to have sim setups and everything, and be right next to Got Friends, which is a creator of aircraft in the simulator.
Well, that's pretty cool. Little bit of pause on the motor there. Seemed. That was Edward Boyd off the ground. So where is that? Where can people go to see that?
It's in Vegas.
Whoa, get crazy. Here's Kelly Qualls now off the ground around 125 feet-ish, I'm guessing.
So if we do have any simmers out there that are going to Flight Sim Expo, be sure to stop into the booth and see us and come try out some Eastol. You guys will be really amazed at how much it actually looks exactly like what you're seeing here today.
Chuck Olmstead on the roll now. Tail coming up. Off around the 125.
Into real planes and stuff like you're seeing me here today.
Nick Ardillo, good over the line. Stick full back, heavy on the brakes. Stopping right between that maybe like 120 place. His takeoff was 85 feet, very respectable. Landing just came in, scores at 110.
So this is my first event, though, and I got to say, it's amazing.
Digging it?
Yes, absolutely.
Nice.
Probably one of the best things I've ever done, probably.
That is awesome. Yeah, I mean, National Stoll is one of the, it's such a great community of people. And actually, I wanted to give you a shout out for your involvement in East Stoll. That community of people, so great. When I popped in and announced, I think you and I announced together for Swamp East Stoll. Here's Ed Boyd now, kind of floating it in. A little bit of extra energy compared to Nick. Getting it stopped a little bit longer. Yeah, just so much kindness within the team, and it's also great to see all the East Stoll folks be so passionate about everything that's happening, be it the virtual East Stoll stuff or the real life stuff here at National Stoll.
Well, I think
cool.
What the pilots appreciate about it, and we have about 25 active East Stoll pilots. I think they really appreciate the love that you guys have shown, and.
There's Kelly now stopping around the same place as the last two competitors. We had a 110-foot landing for Nick Ardillo and a 159-foot landing for Edward Boyd. Let's see what the score comes in for Kelly. 161, so it's kind of tightening up in this heat. Chuck Olmsted now on short final, flaps down, ready to go. From Sulphur Springs, Texas. I'm sure we'll see him more this season. Oh, it's close. Oh, scratch.
Yep.
Called scratch. I wanted to respond to that last comment that you made. It's just that, yeah, like of course, it's all the same scene, and we all have the same love for aviation. And what I love about East Stoll and what I love about National Stoll is that all of these things are a great entry point for people to get involved.
And one of our competitors is actually out in the crowd today, Keith Chartlet. Is one of our competitors. He flies the PCL 104 Wilga in the competition. So, Keith, shout out to you.
Here's Nick now off short. Looking around that 75-foot area.
And then also, one of our guys, Vinny, he came here last night. Or he came to one other event, and he came to this event as well, and he's running the camera up there. And, I mean, he comes from that world, the Stoll world, or the East Stoll world.
Here's Edward Boyd now in that beautifully painted Carbon Cub from Appleton, Tennessee. Takeoff of 86 feet. By the way, Nick Ardillo improving his numbers to 78 feet.
See a couple of people in the chat here. Katrina says East Stoll is amazing. She's one of our pilots. Watching from home.
Kelly getting it up and then having to ease it down a little bit. See him just retracting the flaps there on the onboard camera.
And while I'm thinking of it, I did want to say this is my first ever time in Louisiana, and it is amazing. So shout out to Louisiana.
Playing to the crowd, Verstix, playing to the crowd.
Stoll.com/chat.
And it's good over the line for Nick. Sliding to a stop. Just over 100 feet. And I'm gonna swap you out now for another friend of ours.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming by and hanging out with us. Everyone,
we'll see you guys later.
Check out East Stoll. Go check out what Burstix is doing. You're on Twitch too, yeah?
Yes, Twitch. Just Burstix TV on Twitch.
Burstix
so
TV on
come
Twitch.
on out and hang out. We do a lot of bush flights, and we'll get you guys into some East Stoll. Get you started in this world.
Awesome. Thanks
so
much.
guys.
All right, here's Edward Boyd coming over the line. Got a lot of ground to give up there. And as Kelly Qualls comes in, I'm joined by we had the Colonel was here before singing this gentleman's praises, and now he's in the hot seat. Adam Gordon is here, the new host of Swamp Stoll. Thanks for coming out.
How's it going this afternoon?
Dude, I'm having a great day. How are you having it?
We have some beautiful weather. Things are drying up. We're just happy to have a great event going on today.
Kelly Qualls is coming in on short final. You got to fly with all these folks yesterday.
Yeah, we had a good day of practice yesterday. It was a little wet, but we made the most of it. love to see Kelly fly. He does a great job with this Carbon Cub right here.
Good over the line, getting it stopped.
Wonderful. You know, it's really impressive what these guys do with these 100-horse airplanes. They're right there on the tails of some of these 200-plus horsepower airplanes. It's so interesting to watch them fly and see the talent that they have created here.
And Chuck Olmsted now coming up for his second landing of the heat in the Legend aircraft.
Just see if he can make it across the line there. It looks like he's got a good, clean run. When you're dealing with these airplanes, we're trying to get the most out of them we possibly can. So,
Nick.
Yeah, and Nick just makes the most out of that airplane right there. I love to watch him fly. He is excellent. But all of these guys were all working on props, gear, lightening the airframe. So I'm not shocked to see that he's built 36 RVs. That's impressive.
And you have been hanging out with everyone in the race paddock. Ed Boyd in this beautiful Carbon Cub. What do you know about it?
You know, he flew in under the radar for me. I'm a Carbon Cub guy as well, and every time I walk back by that airplane, it just catches my eye. Kudos to whoever put the paint job on that. It's beautiful. And he's flying excellent today. I'm very impressed. He's doing a great job.
Yeah, previous, actually very consistent. First takeoff was a little long, but after that, second and third takeoff now, 86 and 85 feet respectively.
Here goes Kelly. We'll see what he can pull out for us today. And he's there, right there in that 80 to 85-foot mark himself. So looks like he's 76 or so. That's phenomenal out of a 100-horse Cub.
Yeah, last takeoff for him was 79 feet, and boom, you nailed it right on the money,
yeah.
76 feet. What everyone is, maybe it's something about being in that
No,
left seat.
you got to have the eagle eye when you're a pilot out there. You want to get every inch you can.
Here's Chuck Olmsted now, easing it off.
You know, this right there, if he can get it across the line, you can see a real short landing.
Ooh, good
and
one
it was a
for
scratch.
Nick.
You know, that's the risk you take. Well, it may be under review there.
Go to the replay and check it out. It was a beautiful approach. Oh, it's close. And it does look like it touched the line,
Yeah,
so they're going to call that a scratch.
And look, guys, when you're on that stable approach, nose high, it's really hard to see the line. You think you're going to be where you are, but we're talking about inches right there that we're trying to hit as you're coming in. So kudos to him. That's an excellent job right there. That's just part of it.
Here's Edward Boyd now coming off of a 85-foot takeoff. Dropping that left wing just a little bit, but he's got it under control, no problem.
And when we see the wing drop, most of the time that's when you have a gust come in and out. We have some decent winds that are kind of pretty steady today, but just the slightest bit of wind change right there can make the airplane quit flying. We want to come in and flare as slow as we possibly can.
And on board with Kelly Qualls, I don't know if you noticed he was slipping it pretty nice. We haven't seen too many slips yet today. That's really cool to see. If you're going to do some stow flying and some cub flying, for sure you got to slip it every once in a while.
Yeah, I would say definitely down here we do a lot of slips to get into short strips, definitely with tall trees on each end.
Good over the line.
Beautiful.
And I could hear through my ears, I could hear his angle of attack indicator going off.
Yeah, his stall horn was beeping on him. That's what you want. All of these approaches, when you're coming in right there 5 feet off the ground, you're going to hear the horn blowing on pretty much everyone out here today.
Really close to the line there for Kelly, actually. This is a really great landing. That landing 104 feet. His best so far, actually, 180 feet. So that's pretty competitive.
That's very impressive out of a 100 horsepower Cub. I love it.
The sport class, Joel Milloway with an impressive equal takeoff and landing, 57 each for a combined score of 114. Patrick McIntyre's second place only by 6 feet with a combined score of 120. We're going to probably be hearing about that the rest of the season as they battle back and forth. Justin Tisdale and Matt Vastine tying for third and fourth place. Kelly Qualls, like you just mentioned, bringing up fifth place with a combined score of 180. 7 feet behind him, Nick Ardillo. for 6th place. In 7th place, Edward Boyd with a combined score of 214. David Curley, 8th place, combined score of 221. 4 feet behind him, Sheldon Hetherington, combined score of 225. Jeremiah Stapleton, combined score of 239. Chuck Olmstead in 11th with 265. And woof, just a foot behind him, Chris Jameson, combined score of 266. So those are your unofficial results for the sport class here at Swamp Stoll.